Aiden's world shattered at 16 when his father walked out the door, leaving only a crumpled note. "I can't do this anymore." His mother, once vibrant, drowned her grief in whiskey, her laughter replaced by slurred curses echoing through their cramped Brooklyn apartment. By 17, Aiden learned to hide his dreams, his pain, and the truth about who he loved. But tonight, at 25, standing backstage at New York Fashion Week, Aiden Carter's heart thundered louder than the crowd's roar. His first collection, Unveiled, was about to hit the runway, each stitch a rebellion against the shadows he'd lived in for years. This wasn't just fashion, it was his soul, woven into fabric, ready to scream what he'd silenced for too long. Growing up, Aiden's life was a patchwork of survival. His father's disappearance left a void no one could fill. His mother, Elaine, once a painter whose canvases burst with color, became a ghost of herself, her art supplies gathering dust while she clutched bottles like lifelines. Aiden took over, paying bills with odd jobs, dodging her drunken rages, and sketching designs in the margins of his schoolbooks. Those sketches were his escape, each line a whisper of a world where he could be free. At school, Aiden was a chameleon. He laughed with the jocks, flirted with girls to keep rumors at bay, and buried his longing for boys deep inside. He'd seen what happened to kids like him: whispers, fists, and worse. Brooklyn wasn't kind to those who didn't fit. So he locked his truth away, letting it bleed only into his designs: bold silhouettes, vibrant colors, androgynous cuts that defied norms. His sketchbook was his confessional, where he could love without fear. By 20, Aiden had clawed his way into the Fashion Institute of Technology. His talent was undeniable. Professors called his work revolutionary, but he never shared the why behind it. He worked nights at a diner, saving every penny for fabric, thread, and a dream he barely dared to name. His roommate, Leo, a lanky photographer with a sharp wit, was the first to see past Aiden's walls. One night, over cheap pizza in their dorm, Leo asked, "Why do your designs feel like they're hiding something?" Aiden froze, his heart racing, but he deflected with a laugh. Leo didn't push, but his presence became a quiet anchor. They'd spend hours together, Leo snapping photos, Aiden sketching, their silences comfortable yet charged. Aiden felt the pull, the unspoken attraction, but fear kept him at arm's length. He'd grown up in a world where love like that could cost you everything. His mother's slurred voice still haunted him. "No son of mine will be that way." Yet the runway loomed, a chance to stop hiding. Unveiled was Aiden's manifesto, 20 pieces that blended masculine and feminine, strength and vulnerability. Each garment told a story: a jacket with jagged seams for his father's abandonment, a flowing shirt in deep indigo for his mother's lost dreams, a tailored suit with rainbow threads woven into the lining for the love he'd buried. The collection was him, raw and unapologetic. Backstage, models rushed past, their faces painted with glitter, their bodies draped in Aiden's creations. His hands trembled as he adjusted a hem, his mind racing. What if they saw through it? What if they hated it? What if he wasn't enough? A hand grazed his shoulder. "Leo," his camera slung around his neck, his brown eyes steady. "You've got this, Aiden. Let them see you." Aiden swallowed, his throat tight. "What if they don't get it?" Leo's smile was soft, knowing. "They will. And if they don't, Screw them. This is yours. The lights dimmed. The music pulsed. And the first model stepped onto the runway. Aiden's heart stopped as the crowd gasped. His designs moved like poetry, sharp angles softened by fluid fabrics, colors that demanded attention. Each piece was a confession, a piece of his truth laid bare. The crowd's murmurs grew to applause, then a roar. Aiden's chest ached with something new, pride. But the high was fleeting. As the show ended, his phone buzzed, a text from his mother. Saw your name online. Don't embarrass me. His stomach twisted. She didn't know about the collection, didn't know what it meant. He hadn't spoken to her in months, not since her last bender landed her in the hospital. Yet her words still cut, a reminder of the life he'd fought to escape. Leo found him in the chaos, his camera still clicking. You did it, man. That was incredible. Aiden forced a smile, but his eyes betrayed him. Leo set his camera down, stepping closer. Talk to me. I don't know if I can do this, Aiden whispered. What if it's too much? What if I'm too much? Leo's hand found his. A quiet strength. You're enough. You've always been enough. For a moment, Aiden let himself feel it, the warmth of Leo's touch, the possibility of something more. But the fear was still there, clawing at him. He pulled away, his voice barely audible. I need time, Leo nodded, his eyes soft but unwavering. I'm not going anywhere. As the night ended, Aiden stood alone on the rooftop of the venue, the city sprawling before him. His collection had been a triumph, but the real battle was inside. He'd spent years hiding, building walls to survive. Now, with the world watching, could he finally let them fall? The morning after the show, Aiden woke to a flood of notifications. Blogs called Unveiled a game changer, praising its bold defiance of gender norms. A major fashion house offered him a meeting. Strangers on social media flooded his inbox, some with praise, others with venom. Freak, one message read. Keep your agenda out of fashion. Aiden's stomach churned, but he couldn't stop scrolling. He met Leo at a coffee shop in Williamsburg, the air thick with the scent of roasted beans. Leo slid a latte across the table, his grin infectious. You're famous. Carter, infamous. Maybe, Aiden muttered, showing him the hate messages. Leo's jaw tightened. They're just loud. Your work spoke louder. Aiden wanted to believe him, but doubt gnawed at him. He'd poured his truth into Unveiled. But what if the world wasn't ready? What if he wasn't? He sipped his coffee, avoiding Leo's gaze. The memory of last night's touch lingered, a spark he both craved and feared. That afternoon, Aiden visited his mother's apartment, a decision he regretted the moment he stepped inside. The air was stale, bottles scattered across the counter. Elaine sat on the couch, her eyes glassy, a half-empty glass in hand. So, you're a big shot now, she slurred, her voice sharp. Think you're better than us? Aiden's chest tightened. I just wanted to check on you. Check on me. She laughed, bitter. You're the one parading around, embarrassing the family. He wanted to scream, to tell her the collection was for her, for him, for every piece of pain they'd shared. Instead, he left, her words echoing in his head. Back at his tiny apartment, he found Leo waiting, a pizza box in hand. Thought you might need this, Leo said, his voice gentle. They ate in silence, the weight of the day heavy between them. Finally, Aiden spoke. She doesn't even know what the collection means. She doesn't know me. Leo set his slice down, his eyes locking on Aiden's. Then show her. Show everyone. You started something last night. Don't stop now. Inspired, Aiden threw himself into his next project, a capsule collection for a local queer youth charity. He designed with fury, each piece a middle finger to the hate he'd read online. Leo was there, documenting every late-night session, his camera capturing Aiden's fire. One night, as they worked, Leo's hand brushed Aiden's, lingering. Aiden didn't pull away this time. Their eyes met, and for a moment, the world stopped. But the moment broke when Aiden's phone rang, his mother, sobbing. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice clearer than it had been in years. "I saw your show online." I didn't know. Aiden's heart raced. Was this a breakthrough, or another false hope? He agreed to meet her, but doubt lingered. He'd spent years protecting himself from her chaos. Could he trust her now? Aiden met his mother at a diner, the same one where he'd worked nights to fund his dreams. Elaine looked different, sober, her hands steady, her eyes clear. "I'm trying." "Aiden," she said, her voice soft. "I went to a meeting. I want to understand you." He wanted to believe her, but years of broken promises made him wary. "Why now?" he asked, his voice sharp. "I saw your designs," she said. They reminded me of my paintings." Before everything fell apart, Aiden's throat tightened. He hadn't realized how much of her he'd woven into his work. They talked for hours, tentative but honest. She didn't know about his sexuality. Not fully, but she was trying. It was a start. Back at the studio, Aiden's work for the charity collection intensified. He collaborated with queer youth, their stories shaping his designs. One teen, Jamie, shared how they'd been kicked out for being non-binary. Aiden created a jacket for them, bold and unapologetic, with patches that read, "I am enough." Jamie's tears when they saw it made Aiden's heart swell. Leo was there, capturing every moment. Their late nights grew longer, their conversations deeper. One night, as they sorted fabric swatches, Leo said, "You're not just designing clothes, Aiden. You're giving people a voice." Aiden looked at him, the air heavy with unspoken words. "You see me," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "No one's ever done that." Leo stepped closer, his hand finding Aiden's. "I've always seen you." This time, Aiden didn't pull away. Their lips met, soft at first, then desperate, years of fear and longing pouring out. It was messy, terrifying, and perfect. But as they pulled apart, Aiden's phone buzzed, a message from Fashion House, offering him a deal that could change everything. The catch? They wanted him to tone down the queer elements of his work. Aiden's heart sank. He'd fought so hard to be seen, and now they wanted him to hide again. He showed Leo the message, his hands shaking. "What do I do?" Leo's eyes blazed. "You tell them no. You don't compromise who you are." Aiden nodded, but the fear was back. Could he afford to say no? Could he risk everything he built? Aiden sat in the sleek Manhattan office of the Fashion House, their offer dangling like a gilded cage. The executive, a sharp-eyed woman named Vanessa, leaned forward. "Your work is bold, Aiden, but mainstream appeal requires restraint. Soften the narrative." Focus on universal themes. Universal. The word stung. His designs weren't just clothes. They were his survival, his rebellion, his love. He thought of Jamie, of Leo, of the kids who saw themselves in his work. "I can't do that," he said, his voice steady. "This is who I am." Vanessa's smile was cold. "Think carefully, Aiden. Opportunities like this don't come twice." He left the meeting, his heart pounding but his resolve firm. Outside, Leo was waiting, his camera slung over his shoulder. "How'd it go?" "I told him no," Aiden said, a weight lifting. "I'm not hiding anymore." Leo grinned, pulling him into a hug. "That's my guy." Their relationship deepened, each moment a step toward trust. They spent nights designing, laughing, and stealing kisses in the studio's dim light. But the world wasn't done testing Aiden. A viral post accused him of pushing an agenda, sparking a backlash that threatened the charity event. Hate messages flooded his inbox again, each one a dagger. Aiden spiraled, doubting himself. Was he too loud? Too much? Leo found him hunched over his sketchbook, eyes red. "They hate me," Aiden whispered. "They don't know you," Leo said, kneeling beside him. "You're not just fighting for yourself. You're fighting for everyone who feels like they don't belong." Aiden nodded, wiping his eyes. He threw himself into the charity event, determined to make it a triumph. The night of the show, the venue was packed. Queer youth, allies, and even Elaine, sober and nervous in the front row. Aiden's designs lit up the runway, each piece a story of resilience. The crowd roared, and for the first time, Aiden felt truly seen. But as the applause faded, a familiar figure stepped from the shadows, his father. Aiden froze, his father's face a ghost from a decade ago. Michael Carter looked older, his hair graying, his eyes heavy with something unspoken. "Aiden," he said, his voice rough. "I saw your show." The words hit like a punch. Aiden's mind raced, anger, pain, and questions he'd buried for years. "Why are you here?" he demanded, his voice shaking. "I wanted to see you," Michael said. "I messed up." "I know that." Aiden's hands clenched. "You left us." "You left me." Michael's shoulders sagged. "I was a coward. I couldn't handle your mother's drinking, my own failures. But I've been following you. Aiden, your work, it's incredible." Aiden wanted to scream, to run, but Leo's hand on his back grounded him. "You don't get to show up now and act proud," Aiden said. "You don't know me." Michael nodded, tears in his eyes. "I know, but I want to try." Aiden walked away, his heart a storm. He found Elaine in the crowd, her face pale but sober. "I didn't know he'd come," she said, her voice small. "I'm so sorry." Aiden, for the first time, Aiden saw her not as the woman who'd failed him, but as someone fighting her own battles. He hugged her, tentative but real. "We'll figure it out," he whispered. Back at the studio, Leo held him as he cried, the weight of his father's return crashing down. "What do I do?" Aiden asked. "You decide what he gets to be in your life," Leo said. "But you don't owe him anything." Aiden nodded, his resolve hardening. He wouldn't let his past define him, not his father's absence, not his mother's pain, not the world's hate. He had Leo, his designs, and a community that saw him. That was enough. Months later, Aiden stood on a rooftop, the city glittering below. The charity event had raised thousands, and his designs were gaining global attention. He'd met with his father again, setting boundaries but leaving the door open. Elaine was 6 months sober, painting again, her canvases vibrant once more. Leo stood beside him, their hands intertwined. "You did it," Leo said, his voice warm. "We did it," Aiden corrected, pulling him close. The kiss was slow, fearless, a promise of everything they'd build together. Aiden's next collection was already forming in his mind, bolder, louder, unapologetic. He'd spent years hiding, but now his truth was his power. His design screamed it, and the world was listening. He looked at Leo, at the city, at the life he'd fought for. "I'm enough," he said, the words a vow. And for the first time, he believed it.